Hello, and welcome to today's Engineering Philosophy live stream. Today, I want to have a look at a video by a priest challenging all atheists. And good news from the start in this video, unwittingly, the Christian priest admits that by his definition, all Christians are bad Christians. Shall we look into it? Let's do it. Okay, here we go. Oh, and by the way, as you can see, Aaron Ra already responded to the video. Definitely check that out as well. The video is linked in the description below, by the way.
Atheists, thanks for clicking on this video. It means a lot to me, really. I'm a religious guy who's devoted my life to a God you don't believe in, so you're taking a bit of a risk here that I might insult you, make you feel bad about your life, or at the very least, waste your time. I really do appreciate it, and I hope not to do any of those things here.
Well, I'll probably waste my time watching such videos, making such videos, but on the other hand, it's quite important. In my own family, I've experienced what religious fundamentalism can do to you, how it can really destroy your brain, destroy relationships with your friend and family. So, well, if I had a button to just abolish religion, I'll push it. But until I have that, I'll just think we have to go back and forth with videos like these, right?
Rather, I'd like to pose a question to you. It's a very simple question, in fact. It is more of an exhortation from me to you. This question is not meant to trick you or convert you. I don't have some super ingenious question that will somehow inspire faith in a deity, as much as I'd love to. I'd rather just like to challenge you. You say that you're an atheist, that you don't believe in gods, and I just want to know one thing. Are you a good one?
I don't know if I would say a good atheist. I mean, basically, I read the Bible, read it again, closed the book, and said, I can't believe that bullshit.
Are you a good atheist? It's a question that I ask with two things in mind. The first being related to morality. While religion in general and Christianity in particular doesn't necessarily make someone a moral person, these ways of...
Wait a second. You can be moral despite being a Christian, but you cannot be moral because you are a Christian. If you actually read the Bible, there's the morality in the Bible is completely unacceptable by today's moral standards. I mean, the Bible endorses slavery. The Bible at some points endorses the murder of innocent people, even children. So no, if you really believe in the Bible and and get your morality from the Bible, you are definitely a bad person. So you can be a good Christian if you ignore parts of the Bible, but not because you have the Bible. And on the other hand, atheists can be bad or good people. It's nothing to do with the position of atheism because it just says that you don't believe in a God. It has no moral implication to me, at least, because I don't think it's morally virtuous to believe in a God or not believe in a God.
ways of life do necessarily demand morality of adherence. There is a particular code of life that one must live. In the case of Catholic Christianity, that code is one of peace and justice, mercy.
Excluding gays, not granting gays' rights, molesting children and covering it up. I was a Catholic. That church is definitely not moral, not nowhere near moral. You can be a moral Catholic, but the church as an institution has the worst track record of all. I mean, burning witches, the whole Inquisition stuff. Oh God, no, sorry, that is a non-starter, my friend.
Mercy and forgiveness. It's a code that seeks to care for the poor and seek reparations for those who take advantage of the vulnerable. Now, Lord knows we don't always live up to our founder and have actually done some pretty atrocious things through the years, but it is our faith that at least informs us when we do these things and gives us and reminds us a moral code to live by.
Okay, so in the name of your faith, your church has committed the most atrocious crimes in history, and basically every atrocious crime that you can think of, Christians and especially the Catholic Church have committed it and done so in the name of God. but you claim that your faith somehow makes you moral? No, my friend. If you go by the Bible, you can justify the most heinous crimes. It is once you find your own moral compass outside the Bible by social evolution of morals that you actually get to be a good person.
Reminds us that it's not an option. We must strive to be good people. Now, as someone who doesn't have this foundation, who doesn't believe in a God or adhere to a religion, there is no superstructure making this demand on your life. No one telling you how to live in certain situations.
Oh, yes, there is. I mean, basically, the moral system in the West is often called Judeo Christian values, but that's not true. Actually, most of our values uh, come from the period of Enlightenment. And Enlightenment, the founders were mostly Christian, but the whole point of the movement was that they want to let go of religion as a source of information and reality and find secular, informed, objective values and sound, logical moral system. And that's the framework I stand on. And it's society that's keeping me accountable for being a good or not a good person. And our morals in society evolve. I mean, 50 years ago, it was completely okay to call a black person the N word. Just 100 years ago, many countries still had slavery. 200 years ago, slavery was normal. So we evolved. Just a few decades ago, sexism was normal. Now it's not anymore. I mean, it's not gone, unfortunately, but it's at least not acceptable on a societal scale anymore. So it's the secular evolutionary process of morals that guides us, not the Christian book. And you really cannot argue for anything else, because women's rights, equal rights for women, where is that in the Bible? Show me.
Without a belief in an afterlife, there might be a feeling that all the world is futile, so what difference does it make? This, of course, does not need to be the case.
One point for me that made it easy for me to let go of religion was that when I thought of it, basically, when I read the Bible and really realized that I cannot believe this, this is so obviously wrong and immoral, what's in that book. I read philosophers, especially the Stoic philosophers. And what I found with them is basically that what they say is that the experience of life is the valuable thing, and that life is short is the valuable thing, and you yourself create the purpose in your life. And that to me was really hopeful and inspiring. But on the other hand, if there is a God, and that God says what my purpose is, what's right and wrong, how I have to live my life, that is the most despairing thought I could have. If it was true, if Christianity was true, I would despair, because this God telling me that basically the meaning of life is believing in Him and worshiping Him. Oh my God, that's oh my God, that's uh, that's so awful. How can you believe that and think that this gives hope to somebody?
Some of the world's greatest humanitarians, some of the most influential figures today promoting peace and justice efforts, are not adherents to a religion, but live morally out of a commitment to humanity, a recognition of our interconnectedness, an acknowledgement that there is something good in itself about loving one another, about sacrifice.
Yeah, there is something good about loving one another. And where does God enter the picture?
And so I ask you, are you a good atheist? Even though there may be no eternal reward or punishment, even though you're free to do whatever you want, do you choose the virtuous path that benefits not only you, but others?
I, like any person, I'm partially good and partially bad. I strive to be as good as I can and to become better every day. But I mean, I hope that if you weigh all my bad deeds and my good deeds, that I come out as a good person overall. But who knows? Who's to judge? In my opinion, there's no God to judge. So
I hope so. The world needs good atheists. Now, of course, the word good points to more than just a sense of morality. It also represents an evaluation of aptitude. When I ask if you're a good atheist, I want to know if you're good at being an atheist. Do you articulate why you don't believe in God in a coherent way, or you just think that religion's dumb, so use logical fallacies?
interesting. I mean, I try to. I probably sometimes think that religion's dumb, but religious people always use fallacies, and I have not met a single religious person that does not require fallacies or at least glossing over facts to justify the faith, especially if the person is a scientist and really well educated in science. For one, they usually say that most of their book is, they admit that most of the book is incompatible with science, but say that they choose to believe it anyway or have some more abstract faith where they basically call themselves Christian but not really believe in the Bible. But I have not met a single Christian that is basically that his faith comes from having objective truth and good arguments for their faith. It's rather like, I want to believe, I believe I was raised in the faith, and even though all the scientific knowledge that I have points in the opposite direction, I believe. But so far, no Christian ever has presented any good reason to believe in a God.
Have you explored the depths of your mind and heart, asking the real questions of life, of death, faith, and reason, seeking to understand what this human life is really about? You just
Yeah, well, and here he defines basically every Christian as a bad Christian. Because basically, if you accept the faith and say, that's where all my morality, my virtue, the value of my life comes from, that's basically the shortcut. That's saying, I don't want to go through this hard and difficult process of finding morality, finding a purpose in life, asking the deep questions of life myself. I just want to rely on what that ancient book or that priest or whoever tells me. So basically, Christianity, by his definition, is bad.
not want to go to church, so this will do. Thoughtful sides of the world, or you just stick with people who provide great sound bites for the cause, yippee, but do little to add anything to the world other than strawman arguments and devices.
Wait a second. I mean, Richard Dawkins is an evolutionary biologist. He developed the theory of the evolution of memes and societal concepts. So he has created. He's contributed a lot of value, and basically his books like The God Delusion, they really show how religion manipulates the mind. So Dawkins is, I mean, he commits fallacies and is rude sometimes, but saying Dawkins did not contribute any value is just ridiculous. And also, did you notice that from his list of atheist or non-Christian thinkers, the most important ones are missing? Like, where's Marcus Aurelius? Where is all the other Stoic philosophers? Where's Plato? Where's all the good ancient guys? I mean, basically, this sometimes even predate Christianity, and they definitely have much better and more profound ideas than I ever found in the Bible.
Divisiveness. Have you read for yourself the works of real theologians, people articulating our beliefs in the best way we know how? Karl Rahner, John Henry Newman, Joseph Ratzinger, Augustine of Hippo, Henri de Lubac? Or do you stick with the simplicity of evangelical pastors from some rural anti-intellectual church?
I mean, if these guys are the best you have, oh man, you're lost.
I ask all of this not to be accusatory, at least not overly accusatory, but to simply challenge you to go deeper in your thought.
I really think he does not realize that his challenge must apply for Christianity as well, and that he himself definitely fails his own challenge. But man, I hope you wake up and see that you have not done what you're challenging atheists to. And well, I would admit that most atheists probably not have done this rigorous work. Many have, and definitely many more than in Christian faith.
Simply declaring yourself an atheist and going about your life isn't enough. Just as saying you're a Christian and never reading the Bible wouldn't be enough.
Okay, so again, another exclusion of like 95% of Christians, because seriously, how many Christians have read the Bible? Really, not just read the bits that you learn in school or that your priest talks about. How many Christians have really read the Bible like a book? With what I mean, like from the first page to the last page, every single page of this book. I know maybe 3, and 2 of them are atheists now. So yeah.
Ask more questions. Read more perspectives. Be able to articulate your understanding of the world with logic and reasoning that will actually add something to the world. Because here's the thing. People of faith need you to be good atheists. We do.
I mean, I completely agree. You should try to argue as best as you can and as logical. It's just like, I mean, I have not heard a single Christian ever do that, because basically the whole concept of faith is that it denies reality. And if you're intellectually honest, it's at least my personal opinion. If you're really intellectually honest and open, then you are not a Christian.
As a Christian, I don't want you to be a bad atheist with an unexplored mind just regurgitating fallacies. I want you to ask questions that we've never thought to answer. I want you to be so smart that it challenges us to be smarter. As crazy as it sounds, I would much rather you be a good atheist than just an atheist. And so that is my humble message to you, from one believer to a non-believer. We may not agree on much, but that doesn't mean that we don't need each other or can't learn something from one another. We do, and we can.
I mean, I love to learn stuff from Christians, but unfortunately, every time I just hear the same old nonsensical arguments. So if you have good arguments, go ahead, make them, and did not hear any in that video. I mean, yes, you made really good points. I mean, what you challenge atheists to is generally good advice, but please take your own advice.
Peace and good to you, Father Casey.
Okay, that's it anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.